When the evening shadows were long and the sky blazed with the colors of a setting sun, a vast wheat field stretched out before Jesus and his disciples. It was a sea of gold, waving gently in the evening breeze. The people came from all around, drawn by the fame of the healer, who walked among the golden harvest, holding in his hand a simple stalk of wheat. And there, in the fading light, Jesus spoke to them, sharing a story about the kingdom of heaven that forever changed how they understood faith and hope. Welcome to the Bible in a Year. I'm your host. Today we're going to look at Matthew chapter 13, verses 24 to 30, 36 to 43. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the fields, the people gathered close to Jesus. Their faces were upturned towards him, eager to hear his words. That evening, Jesus looked out over the field of wheat and began to speak, and this is what he said. The kingdom of heaven may be compared to a farmer who sowed good seed in his field. But while everyone was asleep, his enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat and then went away. When the wheat had sprouted and the weeds also appeared, the farmer was very concerned. So he called his workers and said, "We must at once go and uproot the weeds, pull them out." "No," he said, "for fear that while you uproot the weeds, you may also uproot the wheat along with them. Let both the wheat and the weeds grow together until the harvest. And at the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers, first collect the weeds, bind them in bundles to be burned, but gather the wheat into my barn." This is the end of the parable. So now let's break it down. In this parable, Jesus compares the kingdom of heaven to a farmer who sows good seed in his field, which represents the world. The good seed symbolizes the people who believe in God and follow his teachings, while the weeds represent those who oppose God and spread evil. One night, while everyone is asleep, an enemy comes and sows weeds among the good seed. This teaches us that evil can sneak in unnoticed during times when we think everything is peaceful. The enemy in this story is not a force or a feeling, but a person, and that person is Satan, the one who opposes God and tries to defeat his plans. For the first few days, nothing seems to be different. Both the wheat and the weeds grow together without anyone knowing that the weeds are there. But gradually, as the plants grow bigger, it becomes impossible to hide the weeds among the wheat. In the same way, people who do evil can hide their actions for a while, but eventually their behavior becomes obvious. When the farmer sees the weeds growing alongside the wheat, he gets worried. He wants to get rid of the weeds right away, but instead of doing that, he waits patiently until the harvest time. The farmer knows that if he pulls out the weeds too early, he might accidentally pull out some of the wheat along with them. Trying to fix things before the right time could make the situation worse. Sometimes in life, the best thing we can do is to be patient and let things take their course until the right moment for action arrives. Now, why does the farmer wait until harvest time? He does this because he knows that at harvest time, it's easier to tell the difference between wheat and weeds. When the plants are fully grown, the differences between them become more obvious. In the same way, when a person's life is fully played out, the results of their actions become clear. At harvest time, the farmer asks the reapers to gather the weeds first and burn them. Burning is a strong image used to show that the punishment for evil is severe. Those who do evil will face God's judgment and be destroyed. Then the reapers are told to gather the wheat and put it in the barn. This means that those who do good will receive God's blessing and be saved. This parable shows that even though people who do good and people who do evil live together on earth, in the end, God will sort them out. He will judge between them and decide who belongs to the kingdom of heaven and who doesn't. The people who heard this teaching from Jesus felt a mix of emotions. Some were surprised by the farmer's patience. Others realized that they themselves were like the weeds growing alongside the wheat. They saw that doing good and doing evil were happening together in the world and wondered how they could be sure that they would be gathered into the barn with the wheat. Jesus noticed their confusion and wanted to make things clearer for them. He asked, "Do you also want to leave?" They answered, "Of course not. Teach us how to make our ending happy." And so Jesus continued. He gave them another parable, saying, "Listen carefully to what I am going to say, because it is important. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed planted by a farmer. It is the smallest of all seeds, but when it grows, it becomes the largest of plants and provides shelter for birds of all kinds." With this second parable, Jesus showed them that the kingdom of heaven is not something distant or out of reach. Instead, it's present among them. Like a tiny mustard seed that grows into a large plant, the kingdom of heaven can start small in a person's life, but can grow into something powerful and full of life. Just as the plant provides food and shelter for many types of birds, the kingdom of heaven offers something for everyone, no matter who they are or where they come from. After hearing these parables, the people understood that God's kingdom is full of surprises. It can seem small and weak, but actually has the power to grow and help many people. As evening fell and the sky glowed with shades of fire and gold, Jesus raised his hand above the golden wheat field and blessed the people. He told them, "Be patient. Everything will happen at the right time. Trust God, for he always keeps his promises. You have my words. Stay strong and keep believing. Eternal peace will be yours." And so the people went home that evening, carrying the lessons from Jesus' parables in their hearts. They thought about the farmer who waited patiently, the mustard seed that grew into a big plant, and the blessing that God had given them. They knew that even when things seemed difficult, God was in control and he would bring everything to its proper ending. As you reflect on today's story, remember that sometimes God's ways are different from ours. He may not act when we want him to, but always at the right time. Be patient and keep trusting in his plan, knowing that everything will work out for the best in the end. If you've enjoyed today's reading, please hit the like button and subscribe for more daily devotionals. And now I'd love to hear from you. What did you learn from Jesus' parable of the wheat and the weeds? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for joining me on the Bible in a Year. I'll see you next time.